with us players, if there's so much strife for World of Warcraft players, you know there's strife in the team.
Yeah, and it can't feel good if you're one of the junior developers who really wants to push something, or not, maybe not even a junior developer, maybe like someone who's been established but just not at high enough to actually divert resources into what you want to do. Well, but it must suck so bad to have this like burning force to want to make it better, but be unable to, and then going on to forums and seeing, especially if you heavily identify with Blizzard as a group of developers, because you've been a fan for however long, you worked really hard, you got in there, you identify with them as a group. To see people call Blizzard devs all manner of things on official forums, that's bound to get you down, especially if it's like something you feel like you could have fixed, but the resources weren't there or something to that effect. It must be really, really bad on like morale in every way. I just don't understand it. Like, it's getting to the stage where it's so illogical, some of the stuff they do, that I just cannot understand how I just can't understand how they make the mistakes that they make, because at least to me, they seem so intuitively, obviously mistakes that you don't even need to think about it academically or, break out the charts. It's like based on raw experience and feel and, instinct and gut, you just know some of this shit's stupid. They keep on doing it. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's why a David Kim left or an Omar Gonzalez left or anything like that, but I mean, man, you just don't, you just get bad juju from the whole thing, right? And then also, I guess the other thing, I mean, people have often said that Blizzard's an old boys club. Yeah. I've very often heard that. So, I mean, is it just that case where, an associate or a junior or even just a regular doesn't actually have the ability to be like, no, seriously, I truly believe in this. I don't know, but I mean, yeah, it just doesn't. It's depressing. It's fucking depressing. They have to bend very soon, or they will break. And I think we're watching the holes in the ship in terms of developers. So I guess hopefully they can replace those developers with people who show promise initially and give them the runway to actually.
Yeah.
Nice one. Whoops.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was just my AirPods.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It almost feels like just a bit of shot of new blood, a shot of just some change. I don't know. It's like whatever the current setup is, it's producing the same problems again and again. Yeah. It seems decently obvious that something about the current setup should change. And I don't know whether that means changing up how they allocate their budgets, changing up how they, plan things in advance, changing up whatever about their internal processes. I don't know. But
honestly, just like take maybe the top, like, because I know they have like principal, senior 2, they've got the like director and all that, like executive staff. Send all of like the top maybe 3 tiers of staff away for not like, don't put them in the gulag, like, but send them on holiday. Like, all right, you've worked really hard. Go off for maybe like 3 weeks, maybe a month. And all of the juniors will just make do and see what comes out at the end. Basically, game jam it in a sense.
Yeah. Okay. No. It's right. It's a buddy cop comedy.
Yep.
Where our 2 main characters are J. Allen Brack and Bobby Kotick, and they
incredible.
have to go on a globe-trotting adventure to like, I don't know, like just grab Yoshi P. It's like, huh. And then just like put him in a little, just a little dungeon. And the way Garrosh is an anima battery at the minute? Yeah. They just like sit there like, ideas, give us ideas, Yoshi P, please.
No. I don't know if I talked about this last week, but I started reading the Yoshida Uncensored, which are his bi-weekly Famitsu column on how he took FF14 1.0 and turned it into A Realm Reborn. So I've only read a little bit so far, but I think the trick is, you put him into, because this is how he planned out fixing the game. He sat under kotatsu for all of Christmas and basically all of winter. Kotatsu is like a heated table with like a blanket with a heater underneath it, so super cozy in the winter. And he just sat there with an ashtray that was overflowing with cigarette ash and an unlimited supply of coffee, and devise the plan to fix the game. So I think that's what they need to do. They need to get him on retainer for a bit, and just bring him gifts of coffee and cigarettes. Like here, could you list problems and how to solve them, please?
Oh, that's funny.
It's not even like the quality of game or the difference of game, because you know they're very different games, but it's like they need almost like, I don't want to say Hitman, because that is really
That's
bad.
a bit much
really
now.
bad.
Bloody hell! Like,
But I mean a strike force.
yeah, Strike Force.
They need a strike force that comes in and goes, right, here's everything that's wrong.
Yeah.
Here's the solutions, or here's the path of solutions, and then just get at the whips and start cracking them everywhere.
Like, well, my personal opinion there is I think a lot of them actually wish they could do that, but
Yeah.
I think that what's happened is they've created this big engine, the upkeep of which is such that they have so little extra time to, it's like they're so stuck in tactics and implementation that they just don't have enough time for strategy. And that's why, they're just kind of just overall direction-wise, seemingly listless and confused, with no idea what the player experience is for anybody other than a Gladiator PvP player, a competitive Mythic Plus player, and a Mythic Raider.
Well, that is... I'll try not to harp on about this for too long, but that is exactly why they need their version of UCP, because he wasn't involved in that project at all, like in 1.0 or anything.
Oh yeah,
it was literally he was an avid MMO player to the point where in his previous job before Square Enix, he did such a good job he was allowed to bring his own PC into work and play MMOs while he worked. So he'd wait in camp rare spawns in, like, this is like late 90s, so that kind of design. So he'd be sitting there just like working away. He would spot a rare spawn out of the corner of his eye, move over to his PC, and then, play for 10 minutes, get back to work. He was just, that's his life, was he worked in games and then played MMOs. So he looked at 1.0, went, this is going to kill the Final Fantasy brand, and this is going to take Square Enix's name through the mud. And he whatever influence he had and how persistent he was talking to the upper management at the time, he basically said, this is a company-wide emergency. You guys don't know it yet, but this is literally going to be a massive problem that will ruin this company, and we need to fix it. And then they were like, fucking go for it. see what you can do.
Eric Shabier said, can we not advocate for killing people? We're not advocating for killing people.
No.
That is well, I don't know what the correct word for like the English of that is, but it's like hiring in like a fixer, like a strike force, a task force, that kind of thing. Like a sort of internal strike force to tackle a certain problem in the way that it was like Final Fantasy 14 version 1 was a big problem. So Yoshi P was like the freaking hitman, the dude sent in to be like, right boys, let's do this.
That kind of thing. As far as I'm aware, he didn't kill anyone or anything like that extent.
No, but I mean, we do have to deal with the old salaryman work-life balance. So
he might have hurt a lot of feelings with his 10,000 long list of items that was like individual problems with the user experience of FF14 1.0. But yeah, it's more it's not that anyone at Blizzard's a problem there. It's that they need the institutional will and desire to not reinvent the game per se, but actually identify internal problems that's causing these outward problems and solve them.
Well, that's what saved Diablo 3.
Yeah.
What you call him? Josh. I always mispronounce his surname.
Yes, I can't remember his name.
But from what I understand, he was... Yeah. I think he was somebody... Was he within Blizzard? Whatever it was, he was super passionate about the problem of fixing Diablo 3, and it seems like he was actually given quite a bit of latitude to work on that problem, and they were able to get the team together and make Reaper of Souls really, really improve.
Yeah, which reinvented Diablo as it was known, basically.
Somebody said Gordon Ramsay restaurant show. Yeah. Let's get Gordon Ramsay into Team 2.
That's what we need. We need Hell's Studio.
Yeah, and it's...
it's
just that sort of thing. I mean, there are things to talk about, like, about the private class feedback forum debacle. And let's just say some community members being basically treated with disdain by people in Team 2. Yeah. That is something that, in certain spaces of the WoW community, it's not exactly super public, and I actually don't really know the details other than there was some sort of big drama and it was all just kind of hushed away. But, you do worry. It's like if players have had consistent feedback and it's consistently being ignored, is it getting to the stage of just contempt? Like, how can you willfully ignore that for sort of so long? I mean, it's kind of weird because Shadowlands did try to, that's what made us so happy. It's like that BlizzCon was basically going to be like, all of those things we did, we don't want to do anymore. But then they tried that, but they still walked into so many of the same problems.
They fell back into some old habits.
I guess
probably
so, yeah.
how it like would feel to them watching it happen. They're like, we didn't want this to happen. How did it happen again? And I guess it's at what point will there be the will to change that?
Yeah.
To actually solve those problems at their deepest root, as opposed to trying to work around them at the symptom end.
I mean, Spot the Spy here did say 1.0 was too complex. Yoshi P copied WoW to fix it. I have no idea because I've not played either of those games really, but do you have any comment on that?
I never played 1.0 too much. I did log in, I did play a little bit, and it felt awful in so many ways. So I could see there's, considering Yoshi was absolutely like basically the biggest MMO fiend there could be, that could still hold down a job. Like, it almost certainly stole a lot of stuff from it.
I believe, did Yoshi not talk at some stage about like, oh, it'd be cool to work in WoW?
Oh yeah, he did. I can't remember.
So actually, we don't even need a buddy cop kidnap comedy.
Yeah,
we can just ask him.
Yeah, we just need to wait for him to finish Final Fantasy 14, Endwalker, whatever comes next for FF14, and also finish producing and directing FF16. So
just give him more cigarettes and coffee. It's fine. He's obviously been able to create a 60-hour work day within 24 hours by just overclocking himself.
Yeah, almost certainly. Still find time for MMOs.
We're like, hey there, Yoshi. So we know you've got the nicotine. We know you've got the caffeine. Have you ever heard of amphetamine? Jesus. How do we overclock this, man? We're like, oh crap, Yoshi needs cooling quickly. Pour on the liquid nitrogen. He's developing an MMO too fast.
All right, Yoshi P. Here's a bucket of Adderall and a game to fix. Go for it.
Oh, well, I suppose popping a bunch of Adderall to fix the game would very much be the American solution, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I believe it's like a study drug or something.
Yeah.
We don't really have that over here, I believe. I think it's a bit more easy to access those things in the States.
Yeah, no, I believe. This is more from crime dramas than any actual understanding of America, but I'm pretty sure Adderall's fairly huge among the recreational studiers.
Just a bit of recreational studying,
I have to super expectations. I have to actually, I have to rely on something external to get this done, which is maybe a bit stronger than a cup of coffee or 6.